Hey, good after morning. Welcome back to All Right, What's Next? We're going to talk about a pretty important topic that should be on everyone's mind all the time. Shop safety. Probably one of the more important things that you need to worry about if you're out in the shop. Injuries are going to happen. If injuries are going to happen, you need a first aid kit. You need a really good, well-stocked first aid kit. Something that hangs up on the wall, that's got everything you're going to need for trauma, band-aids, whatever. So always have a nice, well-stocked first aid kit in your shop. Let's have a look at my first aid kit. Let's go over here. All right, I don't have a well-stocked first aid kit. What I've got out in my shop, box of rags. I got electrical tape to keep the rag on the wound. I also have brake clean, because that will disinfect the wound. And you got sawdust, grease, whatever, and you just give that a good blast of brake clean. That cleans that shit out. The burning sensation, that means it's working. Brake clean, rags, electrical tape. Works great for bandages. If it's a really bad one and it keeps breaking open and you can get in there and you can hold it shut, super glue and Insta-Set. Freaking drip some super glue on there and you get that freaking cut, spray some Insta-Set. There you go. Your cut is now sealed up and you're good to go, and you're not going to get blood everywhere, because last thing you want is to get blood on your freaking woodworking project. Blood is a bitch to sand back out. That stuff just sinks right into the wood. You might as well just throw it away. You're going to sand half your project away before you get that blood stain out of there. All right, another thing, I've discussed some of this on one of my previous videos about blade guards. On my flag video, I talked about an angle grinder. The blade guard on an angle grinder. I'm a firm believer in having that blade guard on there because, well, it's a fucking guard. It keeps your hand out of it. I have seen a lot of people take these off and they put a freaking metal cutoff wheel on there, great big 5-inch disc, and they're holding on to it. Your hand's right here and the blade's spinning right here, and if you freaking hit something and your hand moves forward, it goes right into that blade. Angle grinders are probably one of the goddamn dangerous fuck things you're ever going to use. If you hit it at a wrong angle, these things are going to grab and they're going to twist out of your hand, and a lot of times that blade guard's the only thing that's going to be between your hand and that spinning blade and a trip to the freaking hospital if it's bad enough that the rags and electrical tape can't freaking handle. They'll handle most things, but not everything. And it rips your finger off. Well, I guess if you wrap the electrical tape tight enough, it might be all right. I haven't had my finger ripped off yet. But with guards, some of them I fucking don't like. Table saw guards. This is the one off of the saw stop. Every table saw I've ever had or used, all the way back to junior high freaking wood shop back in the 80s. The wood shop there where I went to school, they didn't have a blade guard on there. As soon as my dad brought his saw stop up here, we got it together. This was not installed at all. That is the blade guard. A lot of people love them, use them all the time. It's not a bad idea to use. The saw stop one's got these nice little anti-kickback things. But for me, it seems like every goddamn cut ever want to fucking make on a table saw is too narrow to use a blade guard. Your fence is always up against it. I just take them off, throw them aside. I don't use them. I don't like them. But other saws have blade guards on there, like your miter saw. If you take the blade guard off the miter saw, you've probably got mental issues. It automatically moves itself out of the way when you make the cut. Why would you take the blade guard off of there and just have this great big whirling blade right here in your freaking face? You know, there's nothing to the miter saw blade guard. You might as well leave it on there. Safety glasses. Now, I wear these things all day long at work. I have a nice, decent pair I don't really even pay attention that they're on because I'm just so used to wearing them. Out here in my shop, it's usually when I'm doing something and I'm squinting trying to see what the hell I'm doing because so much shit is smacking me in the face. It's like, oh yeah, maybe I should go grab my freaking safety glasses and put them on. I've had terrible luck with getting shit in my eyes over the years. I've been to the hospital 4 different times for getting shit in my eyes over the years. And it is a horrible fucking process if you get steel stuck in your eyes. Because they got to go in with these little metal picks and freaking dig it out of your eye. They have to drill it out, make sure there's no rust in there, because the rust will get into your eye and it will blind your ass. At work, I am very religious about wearing my safety glasses, but steel coming off of a grinder, them little sparks, they will find their way into any goddamn nook and cranny. I've gotten to the point at work, I wear a sandblaster's hood to keep shit out of my eyes, because I'm tired of going to the damn doctor to get it dug out. At one point in time, I went to the hospital to get it dug out, and they come in and they put these drops in your eyes, and it's supposed to numb your eyes, but the doctor, I guess he was impatient, and there was too many other patients that needed to be seen. So he came in too early and started digging into my eye. And it was not numb yet. So he sticks this needle in my eye and I start squirming. And it's like, you have to freaking sit still. And it's like, motherfucker, I can still feel that. You either stop or I'll rip your balls off. It's like, oh, okay, well, hold on. I guess I'll come back in 10 minutes and let that be numbed up. But, moral of the story is, don't get anything in your eye. Do whatever you can to avoid getting shit stuck in your eyes, because, how else are you going to watch my videos if you got shit stuck in your eyes? If it's really bad, grab a face mask. I usually grab this when I'm doing something where I'm not entirely sure if something I constructed is going to hold together when I cut it or turn it on the lathe. I'm worried about it exploding. I will grab my face mask, because a lot of my creations can be questionable. All right, dust collection. In my shop, I have virtually no dust collection. Once again, if you go back and watch some of my previous videos, my 3D flag video, you can see what I have for dust collection. It's a little oversized vacuum with a tube that comes out of it that will catch 5 to 6% of the dust that's flying around. I use a shop vac on some of my power tools when I'm running them, but essentially my shop is pretty much constantly full of dust. So it's like you got to step outside once in a while and just clear that freaking dust out of your nose. I do have these paper dust masks. Actually, this is the only one I have because I don't really use them because they suck. They do jack shit nothing. This is the one that I use when I'm doing all of my power carving and sanding on the lathe and that. They help a lot. This is from a company called, I think it's just called Dust Mask. And it's got changeable filters out, little freaking filter things in here. They can be changed out. This one obviously needs to be changed. It's getting pretty fucking gross. These cloth ones, I think I spent like 20 bucks on it. If you don't have really, really excellent dust filtration, which probably most of us that work out in a friggin' just a wood shop or a garage wood shop don't have, because who the hell wants to run that tubing all over the goddamn place? But anyways, it's probably not a bad idea to wear a face mask. I don't all the time. Maybe 40% of the time I'll put something on like this, but usually I'm just blowing dust out of my nose. According to the state of California, it probably causes cancer. But I think according to the state of California, everything causes cancer. Wear a mask if you're fucking grinding. Good housekeeping. Keeping your floors clean. Like I just said, I have no dust collection. There is dust everywhere. You got to sweep up. So dust on the floor, sawdust, it gets slick as shit. So, have a look at my floor right here on just how well I typically keep it. fucking spotless, right? Super clean. That's probably what you should aim for. Just that level of cleanliness. You want it to be like surgical room clean. You want to be able to walk around out here in your freaking white socks and not get them goddamn dirty, whatever. If you're watching this and you've heard that before, you probably find that funny. It's shop. It ain't gonna be that fucking clean. If you're working around power tools, anything that's got moving blades, especially like your drill press, whatever, anything that clothing can get caught up in, you don't want to wear loose-fitting clothing. Loose-fitting clothing can catch anything rotating. You know, if I'm working on a tractor with PTO blade, PTO shaft, grab that loose-fitting clothing, pull you in. That's why I got fat. That way my clothes fit tight, you know, for safety, right? Okay, you skinny people, you're fucked if you're around anything that spins. If you're gonna be standing on a saw, lathe, whatever, you need a good stable platform that you can stand on, that you can work from, so you got a good stable workbench. Let me show you what I mean. I've got my lathe over here is kind of high off the bench, so I needed a good stable platform to work off of. In order to work safely at the lathe, I had to raise the floor up because my new lathe, if you watch my lathe video, that it was taller than my old lathe, so it sits up high on the bench. So let's show you my platform that I use to safely operate my new lathe. All right, so when I'm using my lathe, I got this good, nice, safe platform right here that I can stand on. And I got it in good angles, that way if I can work over here, I can change, I can move, I can work over here. Good and safe, right here. It's pretty stable. Don't step on that side, it might tip, but it's a good, stable work platform. And also a very clean floor too. Slip resistant. All right, speaking of safety, I'm out of beer. Hold on, I gotta grab a beer. Okay, got another beer. If you have an air compressor in your shop, if you don't have like a remote compressor set off site in like a little shed away from your work area, or if you don't have automatic drain set up, they've got a little electrical thing you can plug in, it can drain the freaking moisture out of them. You gotta drain your compressor every time you shut it off. If you don't drain your air compressor, they are prone to, well, exploding. I've never had one explode. I've seen photos of what happens. An individual I work with, his brother had one blow up in his shop and blew the shit out of his freaking garage. Did all kinds of damage. Thankfully, nobody was freaking injured. But it's not one of the things. The compressor was probably 40, 50 years old. If you don't have somebody come out and x-ray it to see what the freaking steel thickness is, over time the compressors are going to degrade. They are going to degrade faster if you don't drain them, because every time you run them, it's going to build up liquid in there. Every single compressor is going to have a drain on it. It's going to drain the water out of it. Make sure you drain the water out of it. And eventually it's going to rust from the inside out. From the outside, it's going to look nice. You're going to have nice paint on there, but the paint is going to be the only thing that's holding that goddamn thing together, and you're going to turn it on, you're pump it up, and it's going to hit 125 psi, and suddenly them welds are going to fail, and you're going to have a really bad fucking day. Remember to drain your air compressor every single time you use it, because I forget all the time, but you know, it is what it is. And last and most important thing, especially during the summer months, stay hydrated. Drink plenty of liquids. Busch Light is probably 99% water. Drink plenty of liquids. So, guys, everybody, thanks for watching. Don't forget, stay safe, subscribe, and hit that like button.